Hello and welcome to the next part of the XCAM tutorial video, and the tutorial today has only one topic: prefabs, and I think this function is also very interesting for you. So here we go. Okay, first we have to load the tutorial project. And to show the list of all the saved prefabs, simply press this button here. And then you can see the list of all available prefabs. And a prefab is, so to say, a prefabrication of some or many objects. And the main idea behind that function is that you build an object construction only for one time, and then you can use this object construction for several times on different maps. And on the other hand, you can share these prefabs, so that's also very nice. And first I think I will show you some examples to give you an idea about that prefab function. Okay, to load any prefab, simply double left click the respective list entry here in the prefab list. And if you only select the list entry, then you can see how many objects the respective prefab contains. So for example, the first one here contains around about 150 objects. And as soon as you double left click this list entry, then after some seconds the prefab is loaded and also selected, so you can immediately start the work with a prefab. Move around, rotate, copy, whatever. And all the objects from that prefab are automatically saved into one object group, of course. And if you have loaded the wrong prefab, then press the delete button, and then you can also delete the whole prefab again. Theoretically there is no object limit for a prefab, but I think it makes no sense to save 10,000 objects within a prefab, but that is your decision. And the most of my own prefabs are very simple, so for example this one here. This prefab contains only 10 objects, but I like it. So another very simple one is this prefab. That's also nice, a kind of a platform. Or maybe this one, a carport. So you can see there are many different possibilities with the prefabs. And no matter if you create a simple one with only some objects, or maybe a little bit larger one. So for example, this town here. It's only an example, and it takes some seconds until all the objects are loaded. And this prefab, for example, contains around about 1200 objects. So you can see that's also possible. But I want to delete this prefab again. Press the delete key. And then all the objects are deleted. If you want to save your own prefab, then you need an object selection. So that's easy. So maybe in this object construction we can save as a prefab. So select all the objects and then simply press this button here. Create a new prefab from current selection. Then enter name. Tutorial prefab. Press OK, and then the prefab is saved, as you can see here in the list. And from now on you can use this prefab every time on every map. So that's cool. And if you want to check this new prefab, simply double left click the respective list entry and then there is the prefab. Delete. There is also an edit mode available for prefabs. And that means, for example, if there is something wrong with your prefab, you can edit the prefab, delete, add or change objects and then save it again. So first I will delete these objects here. And then normally you double left click a prefab to load it. But if you want to edit a prefab, then simply select the respective list entry and then press this button, Edit. And then the prefab is also loaded, but now, as long as the edit mode is active, the current project is hidden and the workspace is now the prefab workspace. That means here at the top of the project list you can find this name XCAM prefab data. So, and all the objects within the list are only prefab objects. And to exit this edit mode, simply press this button again and then all the changes are saved and the prefab is deleted. And now the workspace is again your project. So we can do it again. Press this button to load that prefab in edit mode. And now I think we change some things. So I think I will save these objects into one group. And here you can see some wrong placed objects or missing objects. And now I will change this a little bit. Copy. And remember, if you have problems to detect small objects, change the detection distance. Copy. Press X. Press space. Press B. Press Epsilon. Press space. Press return, press C to copy, press page up to rotate, press X, press Y, copy, press X, press C to copy, press X, press space, select this object, press X, press space, then pre-select these objects, press no, this one, this one, and this one. Press return, press Y. Okay. And now I select these objects here. But first I have to change the detection distance to default. Press G, press Shift and E. And now I'm ready. And then simply press the E button here to save all the changes. And that's all. And now we can try to load the changed version. Double left click. Now as you can see, all the changes are saved within the prefab. G, oh no. Shift E. So that's cool. And now we can make a second try, and first I will delete all the objects again and then load this prefab in edit mode. And now we can replace some objects and also add some new objects. So for example, we replace now these objects here. Set the focus and then press R. Then I delete this object. And now we can add some new objects. Okay. Copy. Rotate. Space. And now hit the E button again to save all these changes. And now we try the new version by double left click. And as you can see, the new version contains all these new objects. It's always a good idea to create or edit prefabs on flat terrain, because it's always easier to work on flat terrain, but then sometimes the following can happen. So for example, you want to work with this prefab. So double left click to load, and then maybe you want to place this prefab maybe here at this position. So set the mouse pointer, press the key insert to insert the prefab at this position, and then you can see there is no ASL active for all the objects, and that's a problem, of course. So in this situation I will press E to set the objects back, then press the home key to set the camera back to the reference object. And now I will delete these objects first. Press delete key. And now I will load this prefab in edit mode. So press this button. And now it's easy. And maybe you remember this function. So select all the objects, then press and hold down the left shift key and hit the ASL button. And now ASL is active for each object. And now press the E button again to save this change. Okay, first I have to deselect all the objects by pressing spacebar and then press E. Okay, and now I'm ready. I can load the prefab again. Okay, now I move to that position again, maybe here, press insert, and now that's fine. All the objects have now ASL active. There is one object missing, but anyway, you know what I mean. Press space, press insert to place a player unit here, and then we have a look. That's okay. And now I have created a script file and also a mission file from that project. And I think we try first the script version. So I have to open the mission. And as you can see, there is no object placed within the mission, only the player unit. And now if I hit the preview button, then all the objects are created by a script file. Now, that's all. Now we can look around a little bit. It looks okay. Okay, and now we try the mission file. Okay, open the mission. And now you can see all the objects are part of the mission, as you can see here. Now we have only to insert the player unit and hit preview. And all the objects are available. That's all.